Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about the power of being attractive. And I'm not just referring to your looks alone. We'll be diving into both the physical and mental attractiveness, the ultimate combo that makes you a magnetic person. So why does this matter? Being attractive isn't just about turning heads, although it's one of the great benefits, I would say. It's also about building your confidence, your inner belief, and then opening doors and creating opportunities for a better life. And this ties perfectly to law number 25 from the 48 laws of power. Quote, recreate yourself, unquote. Quote again, do not set the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience, unquote. The reason why this is so important even to me is I always strongly believe that when you're born, every single one of you have or has the power to resculpt yourself into someone better and more powerful. So let's break it down into some personal stories and actual tips. Well, story number one, I'll share a little bit more about how I went from a skinny kid to somewhat a sports star. So back in high school, I was always a scrawny kid. I was skinny to the bone and I was shy and honestly didn't feel great about myself. And therefore I joined a sports team, in fact, a kayaking team. And I remember joining the sports team because they put posters out during the orientation phase of a senior flexing his biceps. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool. I want those biceps too. So I joined the kayaking sports team. So I started training a lot, 3 to 4 times a week, eating better, slowly building muscle. Before I knew it, I was competing and even winning medals. Suddenly, everybody started to respect me a bit more. Even though people don't say it, you can feel it. Your classmates, your coaches, your friends of friends, and even strangers and teachers, they all started to kind of treated me a little bit better. And that's where I learned that what you do that directly impacts your physical attributes definitely affects how people treat you and how people see you, even though they don't say it. It was the confidence and not the muscles that I gained from showing up for myself. And the lesson that I learned is taking care of your body actually signals self-respect, and people do notice. And another thing about physical attractiveness is your skin. As we all know, when you undergo the growing up years, during puberty or during adolescence, you will have acne or pimples, which is very normal. But as you grow older, these kind of skin issues should gradually go away. However, for myself, it was very erratic. Sometimes it comes on, sometimes it comes off. So I didn't really understand what's going on. And it was a game changer when I started to fix my diet. Once I fixed my diet, basically cutting out mainly sugars and dairy and a bit of spiciness, my skin started to clear up tremendously. And the lesson here that I learned is you can have all the best, creams and moisturizers and serums around, but if your internal isn't really fixed inside, it will never fix the root cause of the problem, because what your skin appears to be on the outside is basically your external. And your external is actually the reflection of your internal. So you need to fix what's inside in order for you to produce the results that you want outside. So once I cut off dairy, cut off sugar, started to drink a lot of water, eat a bit cleaner, even without the use of pimple creams and moisturizers, etc., my skin was naturally glowy and bright and smooth. And you should take care of your skin using products. Products should come in as a booster to complement and enhance your already good skin. So think of it as a protective barrier of your skin towards external environments. And now that I'm older, when I hit 30s, I also took care of my wardrobe, especially my work attires. So example, it's, when you go out and you buy shirts and dress pants, it's easily going to cost you at least $100. And what I realized is when I go to the tailor, I could pick my fabric, pick my cotton, pick my outfit, pick my colors, and I can get my measurements right. And it only cost me maybe about $110, $120. So actually the price isn't really the issue. It's more of the time and the effort it takes to go down to the tailor and get the measurements right, and of course, making sure that what you buy fits your body shape and the kind of style that you're going for. So if you need some help or some tips on which tailor to do in Singapore, let me know. I'll just gladly share with you the contact, because the guy is a great guy and he has a very small shop somewhere in Orchard. And you know what? Once your shirt and clothes actually fit, when you go out, you feel totally different. You feel comfortable, you feel that you look good. And these small but impactful changes make me feel sharper. And soon enough, I was landing more work opportunities, from internships to full-time jobs to promotions to side gigs, because I truly believe I carried myself like I belonged and that I looked good. And while people might not explicitly say it, I do believe that they do access how you look, and subconsciously better opportunities will come your way if you look better. The next topic will be on non-physical attractiveness, which is your mental attractiveness. And I'll share a story on this as well. And this story never fails to put a smile on my face. So a few years back, I was an underdog in a big sports competition, particularly in kayaking. So back in Singapore, we have what we call B division competition, whereby if you are falling within the age category of 15 and 16 years old, you will be in the B division competition. And what this means is people who are 16 years old obviously have a 1 year advantage in terms of experience, as well as in terms of skills, and more importantly, your physical size. However, when I was 15 years old, I competed in a mixed doubles competition with my partner. We weren't the biggest. We were actually the smallest out of the field, and we managed to get into the finals. So during the finals, there are 6 boats. Generally in lane 3 and 4, the middle lanes belong to the fastest qualifiers of the heats. And then of course lane 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 are where the slower qualifiers of the heats get put into the finals. So we were in lane 1. Not exactly the fastest. The next thing is we also came from a school that's not exactly the most prestigious or the richest. Right? Make no mistake, it's a great school, but it's not the richest or the most, high-end school that you have in our country. So I remember out of the 6 boats, all 5 from the other schools were branded boats, and the most advanced, the beautiful boats, basically. And our boat that we competed in was a Chinese boat that we didn't even own. The school teacher had to literally beg the government to lend us this boat so that we can borrow it for competition. It wasn't exactly the most streamlined boat as well, but we make do with what we had. But one thing that I believed that we really had was the tremendous impenetrable belief that we could win. I remember in the start line, me and my partner, we were pumping and motivating each other up, saying that believe, we can do it. And even during the race, while we're in the race, paddling our hearts out. I remember one of the words that we kept shouting was believe. Believe that we can do it. Eventually we won the race. It's definitely a feeling that money cannot buy. But the lesson that it taught me is your mindset is actually so important and so powerful. And that's actually a very attractive trait, because when you believe you can do something, you give yourself the power to take control, rather than giving power to the external factors, such as we don't have the best boats, we don't have the best equipment, we are not the biggest physically, and therefore we should lose. No, it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna put our head down and put our best effort and have that strong belief that we could potentially win. Without this mindset, we probably would have lost, and therefore I think your mindset is so important. And now that I'm older, in my 30s, I want to share another story about mindset as well in terms of the job market. Every single year, I kid you not, I always hear stories on people saying, oh, the job market is bad, the economy is bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting really sick of it, because this mindset and this self-limiting belief is exactly the reason why you might not be able to land the role or the job that you want, frankly. And blaming it on external factors probably gave people a very convenient reason to justify for their mediocrity. I know this sounds harsh, but people who just complain all day and never resort to trying to search within themselves and find solutions is really super unattractive and not unpowerful actually. Because you give the power to the external factors rather than giving power to yourself to change your trajectory. If you think about it, there are always, despite the bad economy, there's always gonna be people who apparently still have good jobs, people who still can land good roles, people who can still make good income. So have you ever wondered why? What is the difference between them and you? Well, to me, the difference is the mindset. People who have a positive mindset, right, and therefore are more powerful in terms of getting what they want, have that solution-oriented belief rather than a quote-unquote bitching about life kind of mindset. The complainers, I'll call it, right? You want to be the solution seeker, not the complainers, who's always, very bleak about life. During a bad economy, I'm always still upskilling and learning. During a good economy, I'm still always upskilling and learning. I don't care. I don't care about the state of the economy. Just focus on what you can do despite the circumstances. And when circumstances are good for you. You ride on the waves, right? The up waves. But when circumstances are bad, then also still good on you because you have already prepared yourself well for the battle. And another quote that I want to link this to is, it's always better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener at war. Be a warrior, have that warrior mindset, and I'll show you that your persistence will land you a solid job, or not even a job, anything that you choose to pursue with a decent income. If this video sparked some ideas, share with someone who you think that this could help. Drop a comment to share your stories and your experiences, and we could help each other out. Alright, peace. I'll see you in the next one.